Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Street Champs. Quick shout out to our sponsors, Rocky Mountain Blaze and Big Bear Wine and Liquors. Anything we're smoking on, we got that straight from Rocky Mountain Blaze. Anything we're sipping, we got that right from Big Bear. Mention Street Champs at Rocky Mountain Blaze and get 5% off your entire order. Yeah. All right, today I'm in here with Ken and Damon from Chase's Choice. How you guys doing today, bro?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm excited to have you guys on here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you guys were telling me so many crazy stories before we started, and now I'm excited that the people can finally hear all these things. Hopefully you guys don't feel like you're rehashing them all.
No.
Don't mind at all.
For sure. So tell the people a little bit about yourselves before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything.
You want to go first?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm Ken. My family and I own Chase's Choice, which is a hemp company in Canyon City, Colorado. And we do a food outreach for veterans, and it's expanding to first responders, teachers, Department of Corrections, medical health professionals, and also cannabis and medical and recreational marijuana employees too. We're extending that out to where you can come down once a week and get some food, and it's canned food. We do have some meats. They're frozen. But yeah, we like helping people. And this is one of the guys that helps us, Damon Williams.
I actually met Ken a few years back. I was doing some physical therapy for some back injuries I had in the military, and his son, who was paralyzed at the time, we meeting each other at the same time each week, and we just got to know each other. And then I knew a little bit about Chase's story, and then a couple years later, I ran into Ken again, and Chase was walking at that point, which shocked me, and I was having some trouble sleeping at the time, having issues with back pain and stuff like that, and Ken told me to come by and after physical therapy and gave me some stuff, and it actually got to the point where, he gave me quality of life again and started sleeping, and like I said, it gave me quality of life. It changed, I was sleeping 4 hours a night, and Ken gave me some stuff, and I started sleeping about 7-8 hours a night. So it was amazing. It really changed my life, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So all these things you're into now, we're gonna get into them. But where are you from?
Spokane, Washington.
Spokane, Washington.
Born and raised.
How old are you?
57.
57. Why were you reluctant to say that?
No, I forget.
Oh.
He was going to give you like a 36.
After 50, you forget. I have to look at my ID now and then, and so yeah.
For sure. So all right. So being from Spokane, like, when did you first get introduced to like cannabis?
When I was 14 years old, Gonzaga prep, and so never did it before. But I guess my locker partner in 9th grade was selling weed out of our locker, and I basically got expelled from Gonzaga. Had to go to public school after that. So, and I went to public school, and in 10th grade, I smoked pot for my first time, and yeah, I loved it. Been smoking it ever since.
Wow. It's a beautiful story.
It is, yep.
What about you? Where are you from?
I grew up in the Four Corners area of Colorado, but I've lived in little towns all over Colorado, east of Colorado Springs. I grew up pretty much in Woodland Park. Moved down here when I met my ex-wife, and then just stayed. I have a 5-year-old daughter, so I stay here, and I live in Canyon City, and pretty much lived all over Colorado, though. A lot of military, I was gone 4 years in the military and came back and lived in Colorado Springs, and then moved down here. So.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into military service, man. You were telling me some really interesting stories. But when did you start getting introduced to cannabis?
The first time I smoked, I was a freshman in high school, and I would smoke randomly here and there when I played sports. But when I wasn't playing sports, I would try it with friends here and there. But it was pretty much, I started consistently 19, 20 years old. Smoked a couple of times in the military, and then other than that, when I got back, I was, I've had my medical card since 2009, so, and I smoked before that, so.
definitely. So 57. How long have you been working on Chase's Choice?
So Chase's Choice is basically came from Chase's decision to not use pharmaceuticals anymore at 14 years old.
Chase being your son.
Our son, our youngest son. So he had been diagnosed with ADHD. I don't know, probably 7, 8 years old. They thought he had it. Put him on different medications. Over the years, they switched stuff around, but they put him on this crap called Concerta, and that's when things just started going south. So he he was more anxious. He had tachycardia. He was in and out of the ER thinking he was having a heart attack, hallucinating, thought the world was going to end, just some crazy shit. And when we take him back to his doctor and psychiatrist, they'd say, oh, we need to up his dose. So they upped his dose to, I think it was like 104 milligrams of this Concerta. And over the next 2 weeks, things just started declining. And then he finally had what appeared to us to be a grand mal seizure. And
What is a grand mal seizure? I don't know.
so it's drop seizure. So they fall down, some convulse and stuff like that. That's what he had. We had never seen anything like that with him. We had thought that he may have had seizures. But for us, we thought seizures had to do with falling down, so he never fell down before that time. He would just like have these blank stares. His nose would bleed. But after he had this, what we thought was a seizure, they were going to fight for life him up to Children's Hospital, but there was an ice storm, so they had to take him by ambulance, and my wife went with him, and so it took forever to get up there, all sketchy. They get up there, they have all these different, he was in the neurological unit, all these doctors looking at him, doing testing, and my wife came down, and we switched because she had to go back to work. I went up and stayed with him, and what it was he was paralyzed from the waist down. So they couldn't figure that out. But by the 5th day of being in the hospital, he was diagnosed with Concerta toxicity. So what it did is it shut down his dopamine in his brain. So he was all depressed, but it gave him what it was is like Parkinson-like symptoms from the waist down. He really couldn't move his legs. He had no feeling in them. So we get him out after the 5th day, and we were like, there's more to it, because he was having these bad nosebleeds at Children's Hospital right in front of the doctors and the nurses. And I said, these are the episodes that he's having. This is what I think is the problem. And they just kind of ignored it and stuff. But I mean, it looked like a crime scene. That's how much blood would come out of him when he'd have these episodes, what we call them. So we got him out. We took him to a neurologist up at Parkview Hospital up here in Pueblo. He did an EEG and then called us in and said Chase has generalized epilepsy. What he's been having is absent seizures. So you just blank out.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is still very dangerous. And wow. We'd been involved with like Pikes Peak Hill Climb Racing, Colorado Hill Climb Racing, Superbike Racing, dirt bike race, all kinds of stuff over the years. Chase wanted to race in the Colorado Hill Climbs when he turned 16. So when he was diagnosed, when he was paralyzed, then diagnosed with epilepsy, he just thought his life was over. He couldn't, do what he wanted to do. So let me go back just a little bit to where he was diagnosed with Concerta toxicity by the doctors.
For sure.
What they said was, look, we need to get you off these medications you were on, and we need to put you on some different ones. And Chase said, I'm not taking any medications because the medications are what paralyzed me. So at the age of 14 in Colorado, you can make your own medical decisions. So we didn't know that until our 14-year-old kid was in the hospital and he had to sign a waiver so we could get medical information. So by him saying, I'm not taking medications, we couldn't make him take medications. The only thing we could do is convince him to wean off the medications, because it's very dangerous just dropping medications that he's been on for, so long. So
Would you mind just scooting up a little towards the mic?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
But so at that time, that's when it was Chase's choice. He said, I don't want to do any meds. So when we took him to the neurologist, we were weaning him off the Concerta and this other shit that they had him on for all these side effects. And so the neurologist, when he diagnosed him, he said, we need to put him on something for his epilepsy. And Chase said, I'm not taking anything. And I mentioned medical marijuana because of Charlotte Figge, little Charlotte from Charlotte's Web.
Just can you reintroduce the idea of Charlotte for the people that don't know?
So Charlotte was a little girl with Dravet syndrome. Her family linked up with the Stanley brothers, the people who developed Charlotte's Web, and it was helping her epilepsy. She was having seizures all the time, and got it down to just a couple a day and stuff. So it came out on the news. There was a big series about Charlotte, and so we thought, what the hell? We're in Colorado. People are flocking to Colorado to get this stuff. So we got him a medical marijuana card with his neurologist signing off on it, as one of the doctors, because you have to have two doctors for a minor. So I had my medical marijuana doctor sign off on him as his second signature. So we got him this stuff. It wasn't even CBD. It was cannabis. It had some CBD in it, but it was mostly THCA. We did a cold press to get most of the non-psychoactive cannabinoids out of it. It was a weird time when you get a medical marijuana card for a kid who is only looking for the non-psychoactive part of it. Mm-hmm. That's what most parents want. Nobody wanted their kid to get high, so we were looking for the stuff that didn't get them high. I just got lucky, that we found. We had a lot of knowledgeable people around us, because I'd been a medical marijuana patient since 2010, on paper. So there was a lot of knowledge, knowledgeable people I could go to. But yeah, we became his caregiver and started making him this stuff. And within 4 months of him being paralyzed, he was walking again. We ended up getting his seizures under control. It was really weird, because he was still, when they do a epilepsy test, a seizure test, the EEG on him, he was still actively having seizures, but the doctor was talking to him. He was reacting, so he was like, it was weird. It was like, it was keeping him at bay. He was still on paper epileptic, but the symptoms weren't producing themselves. So after a year of him being on medical marijuana and taking this stuff, being off all of his medications, he didn't have to go into the doctors all the time. It was just a 1-year checkup with his neurologist, and he would re-sign his medical marijuana card for him. So the first year, after the first year, the doctor was amazed, and he signed off on his card again. And Chase said, well, if I'm doing so good, can I get my driver's permit? And we're like, shit, he's going to be pissed that, they're not going to let him drive with a med card and epilepsy. So this neurologist said, yeah, just don't tell the DMV, because it's under control. You're a year, they're not presenting themselves, but you have to be with somebody in the car with you, and you have to be taking your medicine, and you have to not be presenting any of these seizures. Mm-hmm. So we took him down and got him this permit. Wow. So a year later, and it was just me driving with him in a, 80 horsepower, 90 horsepower Subaru Legacy, automatic and mm-hmm. stuff. Driving around, he goes a year. We call up his neurologist to get him to re-sign his card again, but also to say, hey, he did everything he's supposed to do. Can we get him his driver's license? So come to find out that neurologist got suspended for signing off on my son's medical marijuana card because it violated his DEA license to write pharmaceuticals because cannabis Schedule 1, you know. So
Oh my gosh! Wow.
so we were like, you know, we weren't, it wasn't like we were panicked that, oh no, we don't have a neurologist, because we have things, you know, things are under control and everything. It's more about, so what do we do about the driving thing? Because I'd been talking to friends of ours in the Colorado Hill Climbs going, what does Chase need to get for him to race? And they said either his neurologist and his pediatrician need to sign a letter saying, no, it's perfectly fine for a 16-year-old epileptic kid using medical marijuana to drive, let alone race. And they said,
When you put it that way.
yeah, or he just needs a valid Colorado state driver's license. So last thing this neurologist said, as long as he's taking his medicine, seizures aren't presenting themselves, and there's somebody in the car with him, you know, he can drive. So we got him his driver's license. 2 weeks later, we put him in a 750 horsepower Pikes Peak hill climb truck and put him in the Colorado Hill Climbs. So he raced 3 times. The last one, he was the driver. He co-drove the first 2, but the last one he actually drove, and it was an off-road extreme, and he ended up taking he got second place. He got second place in it. Blew the tires. I mean, it was 5 runs over 2 days. Every race, he blew out a front tire, but he still made it through the finish line. So then we just, oh, and here's the other thing about that. So it was hard enough getting an epileptic kid, you know, allowed to race, but one that's using medical marijuana. So when I put the idea out there to a lot of our friends and stuff, they're like, oh, hell yeah, we'll sponsor him. We'll sponsor him, because in the back of their mind, they're like, there's no fucking way anybody's going to let the kid like that race.
Yeah.
So then it happened that he was allowed, and we're like, hey, we need sponsors. And they're like, you know, we can't do that. Even really medical places couldn't do it because it was a kid, you know, and it was, but we got some sponsors, and put it out there. He had pot leaves all over his truck. You know, he was the cannabis kid, you know, Freedom Farms. And
Wow. How old is Chase now?
he's just turned 21 in November.
Wow, you turned 21.
So he was 16 when he started racing. Then at 17, we put him in ice racing on a Pikes Peak hill climb quad in the bear tire class. He'd never really rode a quad. You know, we had to teach him how to ride a quad just 2 days before the first race. There was like 5 or 6 races. And so he finally figured out how to shift. And then, you know, he was taught one day how to ride on dirt. Then we throw him on ice and with bare tires on it, in a really high horsepower quad. And at the end of 5 weeks, he ended up the state ice racing champion for his class. So
Wow.
he was railing it.
What was the what exact mixture was he taking that got him out of the wheelchair?
So that was more of a THCA and CBD. So when we first started, like I said, we really couldn't get access to like a Charlotte's Web, and there really wasn't a whole lot of medical hemp out there. There was industrial hemp, but it was really, you know, it wasn't medicine. So we were pretty vague about what we were giving our kid, you know. And in racing, at these events, people were like, hey, I want to try that. You know, a lot of them at first were thinking, I want to see if this is getting them high. You know, that's, I think, what the initial thing was. They wanted to try it and see if they got high. They come back an hour later going, hey, my knee doesn't hurt as bad. And my anxiety is not as bad. And then it just turned into different things. I did not make this stuff for anything other than helping Chase's epilepsy. I didn't make it for pain, anxiety, nothing. I was just like, because I didn't know. I got a D- in health class. You know, I'm not a medical professional.
Yeah.
I know cannabis. I helped get myself off of
You guys mind if we smoke on
No,
camera?
yeah.
Not at all.
I was on Vicodin and Percocet and Somas for 25 years while I was doing bail bonds, and nobody had a problem with it. But I was also just adding marijuana to it. So I was just compounding it, My pain receptors were not, none of this shit was working for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's when I had to get off all my medications after being on it for 25 years. I got rods and screws in my lower back, my neck's fused, 6 shoulder surgeries, elbows, wrists, fractured heel, just all kinds of shit. I don't take as much as an aspirin for nothing. I haven't in 13 years. So, but that's by choice. I'm still in pain. He's still in pain. We just try to manage our pain.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to fix something 100%. Well, I'm not going to say that, but it's hard to fix something 100%, especially if you're just looking for, a tool like, hey, I'll take this and I'll feel 100% better, but I don't have to commit anything else. I don't have to start eating healthier. I don't have to, reevaluate me being in a toxic relationship or environment. That doesn't fix that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta really kind of do other things too. But we do get a lot of people coming thinking this is just a quick fix, and what do I need to do for my anxiety? And then we ask people a lot of questions. You just don't come in and I ask you what are you going to use it for, and what are you taking now, and and again, I'm not a doctor, but I have so much experience in pain and anxiety myself that I can at least make recommendations on what might work well for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just hey, take THC or just take CBD.
He's got a pretty good track record with.
Yeah, definitely. You were showing me some of your prior photos of like past patients.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, like transformations. Like I don't know. You would definitely explain them better. Like transformations, I couldn't believe really if I didn't see them.
Well, there's a lot of things, and it's hard for me to say, hey, this is going to do this for anybody. We'll never make a claim that it's going to help your anxiety, help your pain, help your cancer, nothing. But just with simple mixtures of cannabinoids, we've seen it, heal tumors on their faces, basal cell carcinoma, breast cancer. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff that by accident, just people coming to us, trying different things that we have, it has been very beneficial to people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
it's trial and error.
It is,
and I what works.
Again, I don't make any claims that I have any medical, experience or anything like that. But with this stuff, I'm just proving a point. Anybody can do this.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to understand the simple, processes, like infusing it, whole plant infusing, distillates and different things and stuff. It's not one size fits all or one product fits all. Everybody's different. We all require different doses.
Yeah.
And different cannabinoids.
As far as usages and stuff go, what would you say that you definitely use it for most? Like,
so when I got a hold of Ken, he actually I hadn't talked to him in like maybe a year and a half, right? And I just didn't even think about I hadn't seen him in physical therapy because I stopped going, and then I was going to a different place. I was struggling with. I would go to bed at midnight or 1 o'clock, and I'd sleep till 4:15, and I'd wake up in more pain than when I went to bed. It's hard to have a good day, positive day. I have a daughter. At the time she was 3. It was hard to be a good father and want to do things, go out when you're hurting all day. And I made just a simple post on Facebook, and he saw it and said, come by my house after PT, because I had PT that day. So I stopped over, and he had given me a few different things to try. The first few things, because I do have my medical card and I do smoke for pain and some depression and anxiety. You get depression with chronic pain. So I have my red card for those reasons, and I would tried the first couple things, and they really didn't touch anything because of my tolerance. And so he gave me what's RSO, Rick Simpson oil. And the night he gave me that, I took it, and I slept till like 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was crazy. I woke up and like instantly I got like emotional. I almost broke down, started crying because it was like the best feeling in the world to actually get sleep and not wake up in pain. I couldn't understand like what is going on that I'm not, hurting when I wake up. I've had 3 back surgeries,
Why?
jumping out of planes in the military.
I'm not very like fluent in military, so for the people that are watching, like what were you doing exactly?
So I was in the 82nd Airborne, and you have to stay active on jump pay you have to jump once every 3 months to stay active. So when I was deployed 3 times, and basically between my second and third deployment, we had to make a bunch of jumps to catch up so that we didn't get docked pay from the government. They were going to take, because we were deployed so long. So we come back, we jumped like 5 times on a Saturday. We're going to jump like 4 times on a Sunday.
Just excess jumping? Why?
So you have to it's just to stay current on you have to get paid. You get paid $150 extra every month for being airborne. But to keep that status, you have to jump once every 3 months to stay active. So we were deployed so much that we were not active anymore, and they were threatening to take back jump pay. So what we did is we jumped 5 times Saturday to catch up, to put us current, and then because we were going to get deployed again, we jumped 4 times on a Sunday. But that Sunday, it was too windy. You're not supposed to jump over 15 knots wind speed, and it was like 26 knots that day. So, amber light goes green, everybody jumps out the plane. You had people colliding in midair, collapse, one guy collapsed to shoot. They both come down on one parachute. They hit the ground pretty hard. I caught a gust of wind, and it's a weird feeling to be falling, and then you feel yourself get picked up, right? So wind started picking me up like this, and it died, and I just started swinging, right? I'm like doing this pendulum thing, and I'm coming down, and I was horizontal, and I see the ground coming, and I start to panic, right? I flailed a little bit, and the first thing that hit the ground was my left knee, and that blew my L5S1 disc, but I didn't know it. So they sent me to physical therapy for my left knee. Supposed to be going for 3 months or 4 months, but about 2.5 month mark, I found out we're getting deployed for the 3rd time. So they cut physical therapy short, deployed me a 3rd time, and I was having so much sciatic nerve pain going down all the way down into almost my Achilles, and I was a commo guy, communications guy, and so instead of going forward and doing my job, I stayed back and ran the talk for my platoon sergeant. Let me do that. So he pushed forward. I stayed back. I did like a 7-month stint on my 3rd deployment. Came back, had 6 days to clear and get out. They screwed up my DD-214, all this stuff. They didn't give me an outgoing physical. They didn't know about all the pain I was dealing with. So it was about a year, almost. It was 11 months of basically getting fired from jobs because I couldn't perform because of the pain I was in. I finally went to the VA and found out that I had, blown L5S1 disc. And so that was in November of 2005. And then June 2006, I had my first L5S1 laminectomy. VA screwed it up. 3 months later, I have my second L5S1 laminectomy. They botched the second one. I spent the next 10 years really just having shit quality of life, not being able to do anything, lost friendships over it, relationships, you name it. And finally, when a lot of people don't like Obama, and I understand, but he's the reason that I'll always respect him for the fact that he signed the Choice Care Act, and that enabled vets to seek outside medical attention from the VA. So when that happened, I showed up to get back surgery, showed this guy. I had all the documents. He said I was the first guy in 27 years of being a doctor that ever showed up with. I had the the authorization from the VA for a $90,000 back surgery, the list of everything I've tried. Like, I had everything he was going to ask me for in a binder and present it to him, and he's like, holy crap. He's like, you're ready for surgery. This never happened. So I had my L5S1 fusion with him, and that was done by a civilian doctor, Dr. Sung, and he's the guy that really like fixed me and gave me back quality of life. So I was able to be a dad, and I spent the 10 months before that in a recliner. You know what I mean? Ex-wife and her mother coming home at lunch to make me a sandwich and take me to the bathroom, put me back in the chair, do the same thing when they came home from work. I slept in that recliner because I couldn't move. I blacked out one night trying to get up and go to the bathroom because I didn't want to bug my wife, and I ended up on my face in the recliner or on the chair, 6 feet away. I don't even know how I got there. My wife's I'm having a dream like I'm drowning, and my wife pulls my face up out of the couch, like telling me to breathe, waking me up. I was like, just sheer pain. But all that led me to, dealing with that, and it doesn't allow you to sleep and all that other stuff. Fighting the VA for physical therapy, everything's a fight with the VA. So I spent the first 4 years when I got back, they had me on 11 pills in the morning, 11 pills at night, and 7 during midday. And me being an idiot thinking the VA has not knowing the VA, I mean, some people have good experiences with the VA. I really don't. Thinking I would have a good, do what they say because their interest is my interest. I did that for 4 years until it got to the point where it messed my bowels up. I'm like him. I don't take. They send me pain pills and they send me muscle relaxers, and I have a shoebox that I just throw them in because, the side effects don't outweigh the benefit of those. I get more benefit using medical marijuana and CBD and CBG and CBN and all these cannabinoids, and no side effects. That's the stuff that helped me sleep.
That is a side effect. It's the sleep.
Yeah,
which is a good side effect.
Mm-hmm. So, as far as your military service goes, do you feel comfortable talking about that?
Yeah,
for sure.
I didn't at one point, but yeah, I was telling you earlier. I went through some. I was the first one at the VA in the state of Colorado to go through prolonged exposure therapy through the VA, and it's where my therapist had 2 audio recorders, and makes the room kind of dark, and I'm laying back and relaxing, and I start off talking about some of the things on deployments that I was having issues with and couldn't get over and things like that, and so she records those sessions, and you take them home and you listen to those. She keeps a tape, and I take a tape. I go home and I'm supposed to listen to it 2 or 3 times each day for a week until I see her again, and I repeat that process. So after, a couple weeks go by, a month go by, you start realizing that the tapes that were originally like 3 minutes are starting to become like 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes. And then as you keep going, like 2 months in, they're like 9 minutes, 11 minutes. And it's because you recount all these things that you went through and you saw and things that happened on deployment, and you start to divulge, give out more details, and that's why the length of the tapes go by, and then it gets to the point where you really talk. Those are things that nobody wants to talk about. I would cry sitting in my apartment by myself listening to these tapes. I didn't want to do it, you know what I mean? But listening to those things, it's healing, and it's progress, and it's how you get over the things that you're not proud of, you know what I mean? And like I said, I contribute that PTSD therapy, prolonged exposure therapy, I contribute that to probably saving my ass and the reason I'm here today. And I needed it, in the moment I didn't think I did, but I was a mess. Most people that came back, they saw a lot of combat, they don't realize they're as bad as they are in that moment. So I'm lucky. I had a girlfriend back in the day who made me realize that I needed help, and that's what led me down that road to seeking mental health.
Mm-hmm. So coming back from, I don't know how to really dance around the questions that I'm gonna ask you if I ask you anything that you don't feel comfortable asking, man.
You can ask me anything you want, man.
Okay. So you were in battle.
Yeah, I went to combat 3 times. I was in Afghanistan twice and Iraq once.
Wow. What years?
So I was in the military from '01 to '05. I actually joined January 2nd, 2001. I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky for basic training. And then I went to Fort Gordon, Georgia for AIT, which was job training. And that was communication, 31 uniform. And then I was a holdover there waiting for a spot to open up in airborne school at Fort Benning, Georgia. And just so happens Fort Benning is a 3-week course. Hell week, the first week, second week is where you learn your PLFs, your parachute landing falls, and third week is jump week. Well, just so happened the very first jump, you're supposed to jump Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday's a night jump, and then you graduate Saturday on the drop zone. Well, the very first jump we were supposed to take was actually
You hit that. My bad. I didn't mean it.
was 9/11. So I'm walking on a plane. I'm the only one to sit down, the very first guy, and the guy said, "Turn around and walk back to the pack shed." So we're walking back, and by that time you just want to get out of that harness and all that equipment. It's uncomfortable. So I sit down. They turn the TV on, and we actually watch the second plane go into the tower. And they start like, "You boys are going to war. You're airborne." All this hooting and hollering and stuff. And
How old were you at that point?
I was 22. And so FAA grounded the flights for 3 days, no jumping. So then we did like 5 jumps in 2 days, graduated on the drop zone. I was on a Greyhound bus back to Colorado from Georgia. That took 3 days. I was home for 4. I packed my Jeep up, and I had 3 days to drive back and report to North Carolina. And I got there, and I was in reception for about 3 to 4 days. I went to my unit. I was there again 3 or 4 days, less than a week, and I was on a plane to NTC in Mojave Desert, California, Fort Irwin for 30 days of desert training. And I came back. That was my whole first year. I came back to Fort Bragg after that, and then it was basically Afghanistan for 7 months, home for 3, Iraq for 8 months, home for 4, back to Afghanistan for 7 months, came home, had 6 days to clear and get out. That was my 4 years.
So, being airborne in battle, what does that consist of? Are you jumping out of an airplane with like ready with like a gun? I don't
So
understand.
we train in the field in North Carolina. We jump. We do we go to the field for 6 weeks at a time, 7 weeks. Do close quarter combat, clearing, all that stuff. And when we deploy, that's basically an ability that we have, being airborne, but we come over, we land, we set up shop. I didn't ever have a combat jump. So that's kind of like there was one unit who they gave a combat jump to, and they were from Vicenza, Italy. There's only 2 airborne. 82nd Airborne currently is active jumping in this. I'm not even sure the base, but they're in Vicenza, Italy. So they got what's called a mustard stain. You get a yellow star on your airborne wings. Kind of a cool thing to have because you don't see it very often. But we actually had a young kid show up and he had that on. I was like, wow, pretty impressive. So they only did that one time, and it was more of a training thing. So they technically shouldn't have got it, but because they did a jump in a combat zone, they got it. So. But yeah, it's just an ability. We're the 82nd Airborne. Their motto is anywhere in the world in 18 hours. Right. So if something happens, that's who they just sent to Ukraine. They just sent 3,000 82nd Airborne troops. We're always the first to get called when anything pops off. There's 9 cycles. They call them DRF cycles, Division Ready Force. When you're on DRF 1, you have a 15-minute recall. Basically, you can't leave the barracks. You're confined. If you live off post, you're living in the barracks if you're on DRF 1. Because you have your duffel bags, you're going to green ramp, and you're on a plane. Just like that.
In 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's DRF 1.
Wow. So, coming back from all of this, what kind of mental health issues were you experiencing, and like, How'd you
Well, I was
explain
telling you, I did make a video for a college course about PTSD. It's a silent flashcard. And that shows that it talks about a lot of my struggle that I dealt with. I was always I was a nice guy, man. I liked helping people. I worked with kids, all that stuff. When I got back, I was angry. I was mean. People would cut me off. When you're deployed, I drove everywhere I went. I had a $500,000 Blue Force tracker system in my satellite tracking system in my vehicle. I drove the CO everywhere, right? So he could check the Blue Force, check the radio, the radio's the comms guy. So I drove, when you drive over there, so you're driving 90 miles an hour everywhere so that nobody follows you, When you come home, that's hard to turn off, So people would cut me off. People would not use a turn signal, stuff like that. And it would like set me off. I would follow these people home and then realize like, what the fuck am I doing? This is not me. Like I'm scaring these people and they made a mistake. Like I was out of character, man.
Wow.
And I was, like I said, I lost with that and with pain, having that sciatic nerve pain and trying to deal with that, not understand it that first couple of years. It was hard, man. Like I was hard to be around, but I needed like friends and family that I knew forever. And some specific friends said to me like before I left, well, don't let it change you. Come back and be the same D. Man, you don't go to war 3 times and come back and stay the same person. You know what I mean? And that's what they didn't understand. And I don't have relationships with them today for the fact that they weren't there when I needed them, man. They turned their back on me. You know what I mean? And it's hard to reach out to someone when you're better when you weren't, I just felt like I was better to move on and create new relationships, So it takes a lot out of you. PTSD is no joke, man. It's something you deal with and you live with, and you have bad days and good days, and you just, you try to make the best of them, man. Some people handle it differently. I was never the type to like, I would never get violent or scream or yell. Like me, man, I break down. Like, what I mean? That's how it affected me. I just start fucking crying. Not understand the confusion, just like, what the fuck is going on?
That's strong, man. That's strong that you're able to pinpoint, your emotions, that you know exactly what you're gonna let out, and probably know what triggers you, and stuff like that. It's
yeah, man. There's times, man. I to this day, like if you're baking fresh chocolate chip cookies, like I have an issue with that. Like I have to leave because for some reason, like when that's happened to me numerous times in public at American Furniture Warehouse. First time it ever happened with my ex-girlfriend. We're at the cafe, like above the cafe in Colorado Springs. They got a little cafe in there, hot dogs and cookies and shit. Well, we're upstairs looking at some bookshelves with this worker, and I smell chocolate chip cookies, and my brain goes to the smell of burning bodies. Like, that's what I think of.
That's what a burning body smells like?
No.
Oh.
No. But that for some reason, that triggered me, man, and that's what it happened to me 4 times total. Once walking in my buddy's apartment, I'm going over to play video games, hang out. I'm like 27 years old. I open the door and just chocolate chip cookie in my face, man. I couldn't shut the door before the tears were already running down my face, right? And he's like, texts me like, where the fuck are you? What happened? I couldn't even explain to him, man. I mean, that's it messed me up, you know what I mean? Like going through stuff like that, and it's hard, you know what I mean? Like therapy, but that therapy it saved my ass. It really did. Getting a dog, my dog Levi, he's, a big part of recovery for me, honestly. Gives you purpose, you know what I mean? When you feel like there's none for you, when you come back from that shit. So, yeah, having a dog, my mom kind of grew up with Basset Hounds, so I was like, I'm going to get a Basset Hound. My brother had one, and the guy had one left, and he's probably, another best thing that I ever did for myself was get him.
I agree, man. ZZ makes her appearance every now and then. That's
Yeah.
I love animals. Animals definitely will.
They help
for sure. Wow, man, that's a really powerful story. So, as far as like your cannabis use, for your mental health issues, where does where does like your product regimen go? Like what are you consuming on a day-to-day
Well, I mean, I
basis?
used to have real bad muscle spasms and twitches, like all throughout weird places, sides of my eyes and my face, back sides of my arms, knees.
Why?
I don't know, man. Just I think it's I have a lot of nerve damage.
Mm.
Like I said, I suffered for almost 11 years between my second and my third back surgery, and I'm dealing with a lot of permanent issues because of that. The VA just think once oh, we put a cage in there. A civilian doctor put a cage in there, and he had a fusion. They think I should just be good. Come to find out, for like one reason, I was in pain that VA never gave me an MRI in 10 years. And check this was my alignment, or like a scan, an MRI to check my alignment. My hips were out for like a decade. When I went to a physical therapist place that is more the first place I went was down there. It's a hospital, and they're more like physical therapy, right? Throwing weights on trampolines and doing a treadmill and stuff. This other place is more ultrasound and muscle stim and manual physical manipulation, right? So they put my hips back. Dude, another thing. Talk about being set in alignment for the first time after 10 years. I'm telling you, you get emotional. I'm crying in the physical therapy office because I've never felt so good in my life, right? And then it's a battle with the VA trying to get physical therapy more than 15. They give you 12 or 15 sessions. When those are up, good luck. Good luck, seriously.
Wow.
Nightmare.
Wow. So like what products would you say like really changed your life?
Sorry, I got off. So, I've always smoked flower,
Mm-hmm.
and that's helped with those muscle spasms and stuff like that. But what's really gave me, like the ability to have good days is the RSO that I get from Ken. Like I said, he gave me a few things before that, and I can't even remember what they were, but because of my tolerance, because that's why I got my red card in 2009, because I was dealing with pain. I was done taking pharmaceuticals and prescription drugs, and so I medicated edibles first, and then went to flower, and flower helped me better, and so I stuck with it. And then just dealing with so much pain, and not, that's right after my third back surgery was when I was not sleeping and waking up in more pain, and that's when he gave me the RSO, and it like I said, man, I take it every night. I take a quarter of a dropper every night, and
Really?
it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, I can skip a couple nights and not do it because it's in my body, but yeah. And I try to do that sometimes, because you don't want to build up a solid, like, you don't want to be taking more and more and more and more. So, I'll take a quarter dropper, and I'll take it. Sometimes I won't, every about 3 days is kind of like what's good.
Can you explain what a RSO is real quick?
Well, it's a ethanol extract, and yeah, it's just whole plant, everything in it. Um, it's pretty crude. I mean, it's pretty simple to make if you use small amounts. Everybody wants to make huge amounts and stuff. You can make small little amounts for yourself, for a friend. But yeah, you could do it with cannabis or hemp. When I prefer doing 50-50 or something like that, but you can get it at the Blaze, can't you? Can't get.
Yes.
See, so
Mention Street Champs and get 5% off that RSO.
that's what I'm saying. It's simple. It doesn't. It's simple to get. You can go to the Blaze and get it. You can, people make it. That's how it all started. I mean, we had to fend for ourselves as medical marijuana patients when it first started. There's a lot of good dispensaries, medical marijuana dispensaries that were helping us out, and they didn't really know everything either. They were just could get more there. You could get more and higher potency But what it really comes down to dosing. Everybody's different. Not everybody, RSO works for everybody. Not CBD doesn't work for everybody. All three of us are gonna require different amounts of cannabinoids, whether it be CBD, CBG, CBN, THC, whatever. But that's what I think what's cool about today is that you can get isolates of pretty much anything, and you can make your own bases, a whole plant base, and mix them together. If you need more CBG, then put in another 300 milligrams of CBG into your 1 ounce tincture. But CBG may not be what I need. I may need CBC or something else. There's so many cannabinoids to work from. CBD and THC are not the only cannabinoids out there. They're just the most recognized and more understood than any of the other ones. But we're finding THCA, the acid form of THC. You don't get high off of it, but you do feel good when you take it. But if you heat it, then you'll get high as shit. So it's like one of my favorite cannabinoids. But yeah, there's a lot to it. But then again, it's pretty simple with how far we are now. When we started doing this, we didn't have all these options. There was make it yourself or get it from Charlotte's Web or Haley's Hope or something like that. But there was these waiting lists. So a lot of us had to fend for ourselves. And then when we started getting some good progress out of this stuff, people started coming to us. We are not experts in any, in any way. We got really lucky because we lived in Colorado, had access to stuff. I was a medical patient, so I could go get it anywhere and make stuff for Chase. But it's really cool that, I still remember my guidance counselor saying you're not going to get anywhere in life sitting around smoking weed. And here we are. I mean, at least I made it to a podcast.
And yeah.
So what do you think now,
no.
Mom and Dad? No, my mom and dad actually are customers of ours, and they do take THC. They live up in Spokane, Washington, but it's just for sleep. But yeah,
his dad used to, his command sergeant major used to give him grief about weed, so now he's getting it from him.
Yeah, I definitely was the green sheep of the family. I mean,
Yeah, since 10th grade, you said.
well, yeah, since 10th grade. And literally, I think what's funny is when I got asked not to come back to Gonzaga Prep School, it's a Catholic school, I had never smoked weed, but I was convicted, for selling weed out of my locker.
Yeah. What was your locker's neighbor's name?
Bob Butabo.
Bob Butabo.
It wasn't my neighbor. We shared a locker.
That sucks.
Yeah. So he said it wasn't his. And wait, let me take that back. It was Bob something. I may not.
I'll delete that.
Yeah, but yeah, I was pissed off, because I don't know, because I didn't do it. I did not do it, and then I started doing it when I went to public school because it was everywhere, and probably if I would have known Bob had it in his locker, in our locker, I probably would have started smoking it.
I would have taken it.
He
Sorry,
hit
Bob.
it pretty well. I didn't even know what it was.
In his lunch pail.
You have no impulse control in high school. I think everybody
Oh my
would
God.
take it.
Yeah. How funny.
But
all right.
no, and you can abuse any substance. Weed, a lot of people smoke way too much weed, dab way too much. They build up too much of a tolerance for it, and then it quits working for them, and they're just wasting their money. So I'm really into tolerance breaks, building your tolerance back up and starting off on lower doses. But, with little things like juicy drips, you can go into Rocky Mountain Blaze and get a syringe, 1 ounce syringe or 1 gram syringe. But I think they're $35.
I don't know. I think $35.
I may have bought a few of them
Cheap.
over the years, but
Maybe.
you can take that. You keep it in the bag. It's a Mylar bag. It's got a kind of like this, but that's just a vape cart. Warm up cup of water in the microwave. Get it up like a minute or something like that. Put this in so it'll loosen up the distillate, and then you can put it in a 1 ounce bottle, just a 1 ounce tincture bottle, and fill it up with an ounce of MCT coconut oil. Squirt the syringe in there, put the bottle back into the hot water, and put the lid on, the top on, and let it kind of warm it up. Shake it every now and then, but then you can infuse it into a tincture. So you have at least 900 milligram THC tincture.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. You have lots of gizmos and goodies over there. Can you just walk me through a little bit of what you have?
Yeah. So these are just a CBD isolate. It's a vape cartridge. So
This is all available at Chase's Choice.
mm-hmm.
We just give them the location,
200 Water Street in Canyon City.
Mm.
So we're located between the Roe Gorge Route Railroad, which is the dinner car and stuff like that, and the Arkansas River. So we're right on the river, and so yeah, just CBD. So what we really started making those for is people that wanted to quit smoking. So it's a distillate, and it's got a natural terpene in it. I think that one's blueberry or
Thin mint.
thin mint. So, and then we have disposable cartridges. They're 1 gram, and these
Trying to
are,
make it stand up.
that's blueberry. Just the same thing. It's just in a disposable.
Those are nice.
These are nice.
Yeah. Convenient. They're cool.
So we have some people that use them for epilepsy, and they're already using THC, but they'll use that if they get an aura, and they're able to hit it. We actually have a guy that comes in and has had seizures in our store, and then bought this, and it's really helping them. Okay, what do we got here? Let's go with this is a Muscle Rescue 2,000 milligram, and it's full spectrum. It's got arnica in it.
That stuff is great, man.
What is Muscle Rescue? What does that mean?
So it
doesn't open.
you can open it.
Okay.
It's an alcohol-based gel. And it's 3 ounces, but it's got so it's kind of like an icy hot. Oops. It's a roll-on applicator. So it's more for convenience. So you don't get, the menthol on your hands, the smell on it.
Oh, it's like, I see. It's like, looks like a Axe gel stick or something like that.
So you can rub it on. That way you don't get it on your hands and stuff. But
Rubbing it in is good, though.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
It is good to rub it in.
It smells really good.
It's got menthol, arnica in it, and so some of the ladies, like my wife and one of our partners, she didn't like the smell of that. She said it smelled like old man in a locker coming out of a locker room. So we came up with this.
It does. It kind of does.
It does. So we came up with this. It's Speed Freeze. So that's more of it's an oil base. So you can open that and spray it on too.
Dude, I'm telling you, that stuff's amazing.
That's pretty
My
good
physical
stuff.
therapist has her other patients going to pick that stuff up. It's works so well.
It's got a safety seal on it.
Is it yellow because of chlorophyll?
No,
Oh.
that's the oil.
Oh.
So we use sweet almond oil and grapeseed oil. They're both really light
Do you have
oils.
like
How does,
pain? Oh man, that stuff helps with just like
It's
when I
got-
have back pain. It's amazing.
It's got arnica in it. It's got Montana wintergreen. It's got
It rubs
lavender. So we tried to tone it down a little bit, but it as you'll see, it'll absorb into your skin a lot quicker than like the MCT or the salve or something like that.
yeah. I like it. It smells good. It does. Yeah, it doesn't smell as strong as the muscle reviver, right?
Right.
Rescue.
Yep.
Muscle
Some
rescue.
people swear by that. Other people swear by that. But usually if you walk into our shop and you got some kind of pain, that's what's going to go on it right there.
I like that.
Then you got a beard? Oh, you got a mustache. Let's get let's
It's a bad
here,
mustache.
try that. Well, it's still
This
facial hair. That's what this is for. So you can open that and put a little bit on your fingers and rub it on your stash there.
I'll do it for you.
Get it.
Some people use it, like for, like on their hair and stuff.
Yep.
I hardly have a mustache at all, but
It makes it smooth. It's nice.
beard oil.
Yep.
So what is this going to do for my beard? It has 500 milligrams of.
So it can help strengthen, your stash there. It can condition it. Could build it up a little thicker. Well, I'd put it on your. You can do it that way.
Rub it across. Yeah.
We normal us beardies put it on our fingers and our hands and then rub it in. But yeah, I guess you could do it that way.
I don't know. I was just joking. That's so funny.
That was great.
I like it. It smells like.
So it's really for guys with beards. They like putting stuff in their beards and stuff, and so we made some because I got a lot of friends with beards.
All those beardy guys go to
But
Chase's Choice.
you could use that as a massage oil too. It's just with certain things in it, I'd keep it away from certain areas. Just like with the Speed Freeze or the roll on there.
None of you freaks get this.
It's not for freaks. That's freak free right there. So and these two here with menthol in it and stuff, do not rub it on your eyes. And from experience, make sure you go to wash your hands before you go to the bathroom.
Oh,
So,
damn.
Oh, you
Yeah.
don't want to make that mistake.
Oh, no.
So we do have, this is massage oil.
That's the one for the freaks.
So this one's lemongrass. I should have brought a natural. I don't like putting in any kind of essential oils or anything for the freaks. That way you just kind of, there's no, mistaken, hey, I didn't know lemongrass couldn't go there, So I'm going to give you this too. So you're going to get all this and you can.
This is going to stay on the pod for.
You can give it as sample, squirt some on pips. You got bearded guys that come in here.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm going to be like, you can only get this at Chase's
Yep.
Choice.
Have them try it. They can put it
So,
on and they'll be going, hey, but my beard's already growing.
Tell them Street Champ sent you.
Yeah.
All right. So we got the massage oil, lemongrass. Oh, shit.
It's a good catch. You did spill.
That smells really good. It smells like sweet.
So yeah, we have it in natural. We have it in, I don't remember what the other one is.
Yeah.
So the ladies really like that. But you can put that in your beard. So all these products, it's kind of like Taco Bell. They have 5 ingredients, but they make 100 different products.
Mm-hmm.
People want
They do
different
that.
things. Some people don't want MCT. They want jojoba oil or grapeseed or something. So we make something for pretty much for everybody. But this is fur and skin spray for dogs.
Oh, wow. Really? What about cats, though?
You can put on cats too.
Okay. Cat was easy?
Get
I
ready,
just said for
Casey.
dogs.
Yeah.
It says pet on it, so anything that you can pet, you can put it on.
Well done.
Well, I mean, yeah.
You get all sorts of questions with that.
Now that would be freak approved right there too, because there's no essential oils in it.
You furries.
Yep. Furries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
All right. Yeah, that doesn't smell like anything.
We try to make things as simple as possible. We have every one of our products we make, we have it unflavored or unscented. You can get it that way.
So I could put this on my skin?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, when you drink too much wine, you have to
Wait, what are
clear
you
your
putting it
palate.
on?
My
Okay.
hand.
Oh.
I have to clear my hand off because it has a bunch of other products on
I
it.
guess you could use it down there too. I mean.
I'll be back. It's not coming out. Maybe it's not on all the way. Oh shit! Oh fuck! It just squirt. Oh no!
You getting your mic?
No, I don't think so. I think it got over there.
Yeah, I think it went on the table right there on the corner.
Yeah, that's cool. Dang. So the pet one, yeah. So what is it gonna do for my pets? Just calm them down?
So that right there is more for skin irritations, cuts. It's more of a topical. A lot of people, it's hard to rub something on an animal that's like guarding, like mange or something like that. But yeah, it's for skin irritations, little cuts, abrasions.
Okay.
Their paws, you can put it on their paws.
Yeah.
You know.
Does it have what exactly is in here?
So that is, let me see it. I think this one's the.
Can you read it?
Yeah, I think it's jojoba. That's the thing, though. We have to put all this information on here. Me coming from a very gray area over the years as a caregiver.
Is that what it is? Oh, it's right here. Hold on. Yes. What? Jojoba?
Jojoba.
Jojoba oil, full spectrum, hemp, distilled. Is that 500 milligram cannabinoids?
So it's very basic. So
Yeah,
they can
it's
lick it.
right there.
You
Maybe
know,
you can see
they're
it
not
better.
going to get
Oh,
sick
it's
off
just
of it.
small text.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Jojoba oil, full spectrum hemp distillate, 500 milligrams of cannabinoids. It's very
Pretty
simple.
basic.
Yeah, I like that. Is that? Let's see if it's around. Is it around the board?
That's what. No, that one's going to be different. That one's going to have sweet almond oil in it, grapeseed oil.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to give that to a dog.
No.
You know, all that stuff in there.
Yeah.
So again, we have the massage oil. That really has nothing in it other than just the carrier. I think it has some vitamin E in it or something like that. But
I like
Then
that.
we
I'm
have-
definitely gonna give that to my cat.
it's a CBN dab.
A CBN dab. What is this gonna do
Stuff
for
is
you?
Fantastic.
Really?
So that it always works better, I think, with THC.
That smells really good.
So CBN is more of a sedative. It's more calming and stuff. A lot of people will use it for sleep. Actually, the Blaze, since we can't sell THC at our store because we're hemp, we always recommend these Chiba Chew Sleepy Time chocolate taffy with CBN and THC. So I think there's like 5
Plus
milligrams.
melatonin.
This is your recommendation to people?
Yeah,
Oh hell yeah!
for sleep.
Yeah. Has
Or just-
melatonin in it.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I believe these are 5 milligrams of THC and then maybe 2 milligrams?
It was.
Does it say on
Yeah.
Oh.
It'll tell you on the back.
On the back.
It tells the individual and
Oh,
then
yeah.
the full.
All right. So in this Chiba Chew Sleepy Time, you're gonna get per piece 5 milligrams of THC, 2.7 milligrams of CBN, and that's it.
That's it.
And then the total, it tells you what's in the whole bag.
The whole bag is like 101 milligrams. or something.
101 THC and 54 CBN.
So it's very low dose. And even a lot of times I would suggest people, especially the people that have never used THC, to cut these in half. You know, to where they're going to
Start
get
low.
2.5. Yeah. And they can even cut them in quarters. I mean, it really depends. A lot of people are afraid of THC because even the older people have tried it when they were younger and they got really high or, you know, really sick off of it. So trying to reconvince all those people over the years, them and the Reefer Madness people, that it is okay to use it and you can microdose THC and, you know, we suggest people microdose it, work their way up. A lot of people are really quick to just they'll take one of these, wait 20 minutes and go, I didn't feel nothing. Take another one, wait 20 minutes, didn't feel nothing. Take another one, and then as soon as they swallow that one, the first one's starting to kick in. Then the second one starts kicking in. Then they end up thinking they're going to die, which they're not going to. But
That's so funny. I love that.
I've had those calls, plenty of those calls. People
yeah.
do not listen, you know. Especially like juicy drips, you know, people that want to sleep. Highly recommend that in the indica.
I want to talk to you about these CBNs real quick before we get off all these topics because you're handing me a lot of different products here and you got a lot of good stuff. Honestly, I went to your shop yesterday.
Yep.
And if I'm being honest, my toilet got fucking wrecked. Yeah, whoever shot a podcast here and fucking wrecked my toilet, fuck you.
Straight up.
Yeah.
We're going to find it out through DNA testing.
Exactly. But No, I didn't have a chance to browse all your selection. So how do you make these raspberry? Like there's
So it's a natural terpene that our lab resinosa makes up for us. So those are all isolates. So I used to be a big, I didn't really like isolates. I was a whole plant kind of guy for years. And then once I started realizing that these are really good to have, like if you're dabbing THC a lot, you can throw in the CBD or the CBG. I don't know where the CBG is.
CBD. I got the CBD pineapple,
Here's a-
orange pineapple.
Yeah,
I'm
that
really
stuff's awesome.
interested.
Here's CBG.
This looks like
That one's my favorite.
looks like how would I even explain it? Not honey, not at all honey. Like I don't even know. Like just water with a little bit of yellow in it.
Do you got a pen? A dab pen?
I don't have a dab
Oh
pen.
man, do I got? Oh, hold on. I think I might have brought one or two. What do we got here?
Oh shit!
You can get these at Chase's Choice, the
Things are badass.
Luca seahorses. So you just hold it down as you're hitting on it. It's already got a little bit on it.
Oh
but-
wow. Okay.
And you just want to dab it in there a little bit.
All right. So I'm about to hit just straight CBD.
Straight
And
CBD.
you can see to that glass part if you know.
So there is THC on the tip of that one. So
Okay, that's chill.
it's going to be a CBD THC hit.
It's ready.
It's
you
ready.
see-
All
You
right.
just got to hold the
that
pin
button.
down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yep.
All right, guys. Let's just see straight CBD.
Just dab, touch up and down. Yeah.
Very tasty. Tastes exactly like pineapples. Really, really smooth. Yes, I'm a fan. That's
So we
really
try
good.
not to throw too much terpenes in it because then it gets rough on your throat. We're trying to keep this as bearable for anybody that wants to use it because there's a lot of people that have been smoking for years and they would rather. Oh, hold on, you can try the other ones too.
Oh hell yeah. Okay.
There's the what's this one? CBG.
We're
Yeah.
gonna get you forgetting everything.
Yeah, the CBD orange pineapple definitely a recommendation. Even though that was the first one I tried,
It's
it's
good.
still a recommendation.
So it's good for the pot guys that aren't used to these cannabinoids because most of us are used to just THC. I started feeling way better once I started messing with hemp products and stuff because I mix it in with my regimen.
Can I put this down? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't want to burn anything. Dang, this one looks insane. What? Why does it look white like that?
So that's from an isolate powder.
What? Wow. That is insane. I honestly thought something was wrong with it.
No.
Oh my gosh, it looks like looks like mold kind of.
It's the white. It's the terpenes, the flavor. I think it's blueberry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Smells like
Blueberry.
sweet tarts.
Mhm. I definitely get some sweet tarts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it does. Yeah.
Wow, that is the most interesting looking concentrate I've ever seen in my life.
And the first time we smoked it, he brought over some weed from a med dispensary, and he goes, "Yeah, it's pretty good weed." Or no, you said it was mid grade or something
Yeah.
like that. So we were hitting on that, and then I said, "Let's dab on this while we're after we're done, we'll smoke a little bit more and dab on that." You just get a different feeling. It's like an enhancer.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so could I try it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. All right, I'm about to hit just isolated CBG. It's ready.
Okay, next door one's in.
I think there's a little bit of pineapple left. Wait.
Yeah.
Probably.
Might want to take another one.
This one's for science.
R&D, baby, R&D.
Definitely get the hints of blueberry. I think it was a little bit more rough because I let it out my nose. I'm freaking. But
Again, you're using a tip that touches like every cannabinoid 10 times a day. I'm just like bloop, 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 bloop.
no, yeah, I like it. Like, honestly, just the interesting color alone would just get me drawn to this.
Mhm.
So, just
The nice thing, I'll take a gram of that and I'll crush it up back into a really fine powder and then I'll put it into MCT coconut oil in a tincture, warm it up, and then it becomes just like the CBN, like this stuff. Did I show you this stuff?
I don't know. I don't think so. Well, so you heat this up, and you put it in a tincture. And
Well, I break it up.
Okay.
I'll crush it back up to make it into a powder, and then I'll take a tincture bottle like this and fill it up with MCT coconut oil. Put the powder in there. Put it in really warm water. Shake it up, and then it infuses into the MCT coconut oil.
What does MTC mean? I'm sorry.
So it's a multi. I'm not even sure what the hell it is. I mean, I know we buy enough of it. It's one of the healthier fat carrier oils.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the salve, a lot of times we'll use the raw coconut oil, the stuff that will harden up. The MCT usually at room temperature will stay liquid, but it's just a good carrier for these cannabinoids to bind to, and then be distributed through our bodies. So when I first started doing this, I was doing it with vegetable glycerin. I was using it with grapeseed oil, olive oil, just different carriers that I knew that were going to work. But over the years, the one that I found that worked the best was probably the MCT. Plus, it had a longer shelf life, especially, than grapeseed oil. But yeah, again, I'm not a scientist. It's one of those things to where this is mostly what cannabinoids are getting put into is MCT. They do have like nanotechnology now that they can do water soluble oil or tinctures and stuff like that. Which is really cool. But yeah, most of our products, the ingestible ones, are coconut oil.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Wow.
And then we have something, because I noticed. How old are you?
24.
24, okay. I got an ID him before I give him this stuff. This is a face serum.
Really?
So yeah. Make your face glow.
Oh, wow. So this is for the beautiful people.
Well, actually, on there, there's a thing, I believe it says that will make you look more beautiful than before the day before you had children.
Oh, wow. I
So be careful with it. That's why, I was wondering, I'm like, do I give it to this guy or?
You've earned it, it says. Oh, wow. I like the packaging. I like the pink. So this is Lavender Bloom Face Serum.
Yep.
So this just goes all over your face?
It's for men too, but we prefer men to use the beard oil. But you could probably put that on your stash.
I'll probably end up putting everything on my stash. Pause, huh?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it smells like...
Lavender?
Yeah.
And bloom. It's lavender bloom.
Lavender and bloom. Oh, I really smell the bloom notes.
So yeah, they normally put it on their fingers and put it under their bags under their eyes, which you won't have for another 40 years.
Bro, I'll get a head
But this
start.
will keep you. You could go. You could be 90 years old and have the best non-bagged eyes around.
I'm gonna have the best looking podcast around.
There you go. Sure. Glisten.
I know my hands are freaking like they look like I was just rolling around in oil.
Just the one hand too. That's always weird.
But all right. Now this is the Face Serum Lavender Bloom. This one's really good for the beautiful people.
And ugly. We don't discriminate. So.
My mom tells me I'm very beautiful.
I think all our moms say that, don't they?
I think so. If they're good moms.
So this is a 90-10 mix of CBD and CBN. So we're still playing with CBN, as far as the sleep, helping with sleep.
All right, so CBN is the sleep one.
So that's one of the things it's known for and stuff. But I used it originally when I first found out about it. We used it on my mother-in-law's Parkinson's.
Oh.
So we were trying to get her to be able to sleep and stuff, but she wasn't taking enough. What was helping her stop shaking. So she took it forever, and then we couldn't find it. Now we have it, so
So this helped with her Parkinson's, but she didn't take enough. You said.
Well, we ran out of it.
Oh.
So what the thing was is she wasn't taking enough. That's what we think was helping her, the shakiness of it. So she slept when she started taking THC.
Oh.
She was just the opposite. Sativa put her to sleep and indica kept her up all night.
This one has no smell.
No, that's natural.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You can taste it. It's pretty comparable to probably what you would taste on the bottom of your lawnmower.
Like it don't have a great taste.
I don't really taste anything.
See, no, I was thinking of the CBG one, and I actually brought the. I think I actually brought the mint one. So yeah, never mind.
It doesn't even have like some tinctures will have like a oily like mouthfeel after. This one doesn't have any mouthfeel after.
So yeah, it's. So that one we're really just kind of playing with. You know, we brought it out just so we could get some CBN out. We don't want to give people straight
that everybody
CBN.
comes back for that I've seen.
Natural CBD
Ultra.
900.
Oh,
CBN
that's the
100.
Is that the
9010.
Oh, that's the 9010.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the Ultra.
So the Ultra.
Jump in the gun.
Got to make some room here because I definitely want to get all these products on camera.
So this one's they actually test out at over like 2,600 milligrams, over 2,600 milligrams. We always do more, than we always put more in it than there actually is. But so that's got 2,000 milligrams of CBD, 300 milligrams of CBG, 200 milligrams of CBN, and it legally has 80 milligrams of THC in it. And that's a 1 ounce tincture.
That is the one everybody comes back for.
Really? How much is this running at Chase's
So that's
Choice?
$60.
$60.
Yep.
If they mention Street Champs, do they
10% off.
10% off
Yep.
them if they watch a podcast and come in?
Yep. We'll double the blazes.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Dang.
Discount wars.
Greg.
Hell yeah.
Watch
10%
out.
off. Mention Street Champs at Chase's Choice, guys.
Yep.
Dang, that's awesome. Why does Ultra is not on here? Why do you call it Ultra?
We call it Ultra.
Because it's like the Ultra.
It's the Ultra,
everything.
yeah. So you can name it whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Can I taste it? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
sure.
should have asked before I opened it.
That one's going to be strong.
It looks like really dark compared to
It's got a lot of cannabinoids in it.
Let's see.
That's why it works so well, man. It's got all this cannabinoids.
So that's kind of like the kitchen sink. Most of the people that walk into our store aren't coming in with, like, oh, I got a sprained ankle or I have stage 1 cancer. It's always stage 4. It's always like anxiety, PTSD, depression, suicidal thought. It's crazy because a lot of the doctors, when people get to this point, they're like, hey, maybe you should look into CBD or THC. Why is it the last option? Why isn't it the first option for all these people? It would definitely keep people from getting addicted to the shit that they're giving people, because I was on Vicodin for 25 years because of all my surgeries and shit. It was chronic pain. That's all they could do. It was like, here, we'll give you pain pills anytime you want them. And it got to the point where your bodies quit. They don't work anymore. Opiates don't work anymore. And you got to keep taking more and more and more. And I'll never forget the day that I went in and talked to my doctor about, I already had a med card, but I told her I was going to get off of all my medicine, all my medications using marijuana. And she went off on me. She was like a 7-year-old doctor. She was a really nice lady until I brought this up. She confused medical marijuana with spice. Like
synthetic marijuana.
Yeah. So she's like, that's killing people. And I'm like, what the? I mean, I was cussing at her. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she's like, I'm totally against this, and I'll cut you off all your shit. And I said, you just can't cut me off. I'm telling you, I want to wean off this stuff. But I was off of Vicodin within 2 weeks using nothing but marijuana. It sucked because I wasn't using marijuana properly. I was just adding it to my Vicodin, my Soma, my anti-inflammatories. It was just compounding shit, So once I started weaning off all this stuff, I realized that the cannabis was really kind of helping. It wasn't. I didn't have the urges for the Vicodin. I was so sick of it. It was making me sick. It was confusing me. I was taking so much of it. I was taking my wife's Vicodin. I was addicted to it. And
How many would you take in a day?
oh shit, probably 15 or 20.
That'd
Oh,
fucking
easily.
kill me, man.
Yeah.
I've never even taken a Vicodin. I don't even know what it feels like. What is it? How would you describe it?
So at first it's kind of like
I can't even fathom that. I've taken it before. That's fucking hardcore. Like,
it was like really bad.
that's fucking hardcore.
The feeling is, and I've never done heroin, but I would say it's probably pretty similar to heroin light or something. But the more you take, I mean, I was a bail bondsman. I was a bounty hunter. I was repoing cars, and I'd go in for a shoulder surgery, and be out that day, have a bag full of Vicodin, and start popping them, and then get a call that I got to go arrest somebody. And I'm like, oh well, I'll just take my sling off. I'll have my guys with me. The guy probably won't run my direction, or one of my other guys will get him. Every fucking time they come right at me, and I pop a rod in my shoulder, or it goes out through my out through my shoulder. I've been one, so I just kept having surgeries and going back out and working, and it was just crazy. It was because of the Vicodin. If I was just doing weed at the time, I would have been going, nope, I ain't doing shit. I'm going to sit here and heal. And because that's when I learned, is when I got off the opiates. And it literally took me a year to get off this one medication called Lyrica. So the opiate thing is just one thing. There's all these other medications that are just crazy hard to get off of, and sleep medications.
They're the worst.
So
You guys were addicted to sleep medications?
well, mine wasn't really a sleep medication. It was Lyrica. It was a nerve pain medication, but it made me tired. So I told my doctor, I'm like, I can't take this. I got to work. I got to go arrest people and bond people out. He goes, well, just take it at night if it makes you tired. So I was taking Lunesta and something else. And those were like the most vivid dreams I've ever had in my life, and it was crazy. So the one thing I really noticed about cannabis, if you're just on cannabis, you don't really have vivid dreams, if you can remember your dreams. So, but yeah, it's the whole thing. Even when I was weaning off all these medications, I was still just slamming myself with like RSO or brownies, or just smoking a whole bunch of shit, just becoming numb. But then I really couldn't do nothing. So once I got through the opiates and then got through the Lyrica, then I started figuring out, okay, I'll just smoke so many times a day. I'm not going to ingest anything. And then Chase happened, all this stuff with Chase. And then I'm like, well, fuck, how do I dose? I don't want to get him high. How do we do this? So I had to rethink the whole, how do you take cannabis? And then everything was microdose, 1,000 milligram tincture. You give him one drop, wait 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Give him another 2 drops. You just slowly build it up, until you find a sweet spot. With him, it was like a half a dropper, but it started working. Once we got his dose, it just started working, and it was like it was a miracle, literally a miracle that was happening off of some stuff that we had, just kind of. It was literally our last hope was this stuff that anybody can have now. Anybody can get. You can grow it, in Colorado yourself. But it's going to become a big problem for pain management clinics, for the VA, who've been fighting it for years and stuff. I've been pushing this to the VA for years, and I got kicked. Well, I didn't get kicked out. I got told that I wouldn't be allowed back in if they caught me dosing people inside the facility during PTSD group. So what I did, they said, you're more than welcome to go outside and do it after group. Well, there was a handicap spot right here. My father-in-law goes with me,
Oh, no.
to group. He's disabled. So we park right in the front, sit in our car with the car running, a line of guys waiting there. We're giving out samples to them. THC,
If you can't do it
CBD.
inside, they're just coming to Ken's car, just like.
So it's just, we've been talking about it in PTSD group here up at the VA in Pueblo for years. And when I started bringing it up, they were like, well, don't talk about it. Just don't talk about it. And then when I started bringing it up about my son, then people started getting interested because it had to do with children taking medical marijuana. I just told them it wasn't getting them high. We didn't give them enough to get them high. So then people started coming to us and going, hey, can I try it? Outside a group and stuff. And now we have guys drive down. We do a PTSD peer support group on Saturdays at Chase's Choice in Canyon City. Mm-hmm. And we have guys from Pueblo drive down, from the VA up here to come down here to our group. And it's small right now just for the fact that everybody's getting COVID. Mm-hmm. I got COVID 2 weeks ago.
Omicron.
Bastard.
Those bastards.
But I used the CBDA and felt better the next day. So I'm not saying that that's what's going to cure the world of COVID, but I'm just saying that's one of the things that could possibly be very, very beneficial to people.
I mean, for the people, you should Google the Oregon State research about CBDA and CBGA blocking coronavirus. It's pretty awesome.
And that CBDA, is that available to purchase at Chase's Choice?
So it will be. We are going to have our lab Resinosa. They're working on it right now. So
wow.
I made a batch, sent it to them. They're gonna test it and see what I got as far as what I made up, because I just made this in my kitchen. I can't sell it, but I can give it away.
This one, you keep motioning.
Yeah.
To this one right here.
So it's just the acid form, just like with the THCA that we used on Chase. It wasn't getting them high because we did not heat it. So if you take a joint, you eat a joint, you're really not going to get high off of it. But if you light that joint up and start smoking it, you're going to get high as shit. So we just found that a lot of people can benefit with THCA rather than the THC because of the side effects from the THC, if you take too much of it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I have the cure for COVID in my hands. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I mean,
for me, the first time I had COVID, I was out for 5 weeks, thought I was going to die. I mean, literally, it was so bad.
It took a month to brain fog and taste, all that.
This
just fell off.
Everything came back the next day after I took that. Literally within hours, I started feeling better. My headache started going away. So it was something that we had been talking about doing some acid forms, CBDA, CBGA, and this study came out from Oregon State University, and then everybody started calling the lab that we use and said, hey, we want CBDA. Well, we had called them the day it came out and said, we want it. So we're doing up a big batch. It's just, we may want to do it a little different. We may want to do a whole plant version too, to where it's not coming from a distillate or something like that. Just keep the whole plant in it, all the terpenes and everything. As you can tell, I mean, it tastes a lot different than the THCA that you tried.
He's tried about 30 things
THCA.
today.
Wait, which one is the THCA? I don't think that's the straw nap.
That's the one that when you took it, you said, no, this is from the diamonds.
Oh, the diamonds one, yes.
It's the one that said that you got relaxed on when you took it.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
So that's something. How many people come into the Blaze and go, hey, you got any THCA?
No, I honestly, I don't even know. Probably no one. That's very specific.
But a lot of your stuff is THCA. Your live resin.
Mm-hmm.
So those diamonds were 98% THCA.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That's exactly what I want. Only thing is I'm taking those beautiful diamonds and turning it back into just into a dosable liquid, which is kind of weird, but that's the shit that I love. That's the stuff that's been working for us, is when you can get these different kind of isolates and put it into something like a Rick Simpson oil.
Sorry, I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Sorry.
It looks like an issue with the router and Echo
My
device.
Alexa fucking
so
isn't
try
connected to my
restarting
internet.
it.
I think she said.
Unplug both of them.
I think she
then
thought you said
plug the
Alexa.
router back in. Wait.
But it's not connected to anything, so it doesn't like do anything.
That's funny. Oh, Alexa.
Damn Alexa. She's always listening.
All right. Anyway.
What else we got here? Oh, our 50/50 CBD, CBG. If you research CBG, it's one of the better ones for cancers and stuff like that, tumors. You know, and every cancer is different, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to cure any cancer or nothing, but
Really good healing properties.
it really does. Pretty much,
CBG, yeah, especially.
yeah. So it's like
It's
mother
one the
of all
most-
cannabis.
Yeah, it's like one of the, dude, that's the stuff that, anything with CBG, that's the stuff you're going to pay top dollar for most times.
CBN's pretty expensive too.
How much is this at the store?
So that one is there a price on the bottom?
No.
I think it's either 35 or 45.
It's 45, I think, but I can go.
See, I'm just involved in like developing it, you know, figuring out what we're gonna put in it and scents and stuff like that. But they keep me over in the corner in the dab bar like you saw me in yesterday. That's where I'm at.
Not
Where all
a bad spot to
it's
be.
not. I'm the guy who gives out samples and helps, you know, talks to people and figures out, you know, like what kind of medications are you on, what kind of problems are you having. Basically, why do you want to use this stuff? You know, we just don't want to sell it to people just going, oh yeah, it'll fix everything. It may not help you, you know, and if you're taking different medications, you know, it could be counterproductive, and, you know, when to take these compared to along with your other medications, because if you're taking oils along with pain pills, you're not going to know what's working, you know, so we try to get people to kind of like take half of a pain pill and then take this instead, you know, some CBD or something like that. And just kind of, we don't want people piling on more oils or cannabinoids or anything like that, THC, CBD, just on top of things. You know, when people come in, our intentions for them is to help them get off of whatever they're on, or at least lower what they're taking. And
So a
stuff.
lot of it is education, man, trying to educate them on, you know, getting off the sleeping pills and stuff, and educate them on how this stuff can help them. And I'm telling you, you see people that come back because they feel better. Like I was going to say, my physical therapist 2 weeks ago started taking the Ultra, right? She wasn't sleeping for nothing. I said, let me get this. Ken gave her a sample and then some CBD gummies, and that over there. And then she said,
just CBD gummies right here.
Yeah.
Just
and then the next
specifically.
week, I saw her again. I asked her, I said, how did that Ultra? She goes, oh my God, not only did I sleep more than 5 hours, she goes, I slept full 7 hours. My alarm woke me up. I can't remember the last time that happened. And then she said on top of it, she goes, I felt like more energy today than I've ever had. I didn't expect to get, you know, and it's probably because she got really good rest, you know, but she felt energetic throughout the day. And she was impressed. Like, she went ahead and bought a whole bottle and sent her friend over to get some of the speed freeze. And yeah, it's
Wow.
it really works for itself, or it talks for itself. I mean, if it wasn't good and it didn't work, people wouldn't keep coming back for it.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Your statement alone is so powerful, man. But I was in the room. You know, the people behind the camera, they weren't in the room when you showed me all these testimonials of photo after photo after photo of, you know, of
Wounds,
of
injuries.
wounds, cancer cells, you know, like form growths on people's faces that were healed because this intervened in something that was already failing.
Plant
Yeah.
came in and did what pharmaceuticals couldn't, and modern medicine couldn't. And this is stuff that we've been using forever, you know. So it's just crazy that they took it away from us for, 80 years, you know, this whole reefer madness shit. And, you know, all the studies that have come out that it actually benefits people that they just destroyed, you know, that they just hid. And, you know, it could have saved so many lives. I think that's why we're so outspoken, is because of that. Is because, I think if we didn't have a story, nobody really wants, like, doctors don't want to hear about my story, how I, was on Vicodin for 25 years, all this other shit, and that cannabis alone got me off of it. They don't give a shit. They just keep saying, oh, you just want to smoke weed. It gives you a reason to smoke weed. No, I'm off all those fucking pills you had me on, and I get it. I'm part of the problem, but they're a bigger part of the problem, because once they have you on something that you should have only been taking temporarily to get you through the post-surgical pains, and it becomes like a daily vitamin for you, a multi-daily vitamin for you, all they can do is support you. Just keep giving you the shit, because if not, you're going to go through withdrawals, and you could die, or you could, go out and just start taking heroin. And, I never had that problem. I was a functioning addict. You know what I mean? I was arresting people that were not functioning addicts, that were doing heroin, meth, alcohol, this other shit. I didn't consider myself one of them, but I was. I was just highly functioning. So that's what got us into helping people with recovering from addiction or substance use disorder. Helped a bounty hunter friend of mine, or a bounty hunter's cousin of mine, get through some meth withdrawals. And so him and his wife ended up starting a addiction recovery group called Young People in Recovery.
With these products you helped them with?
Well, it was more cannabis. So again, I'm more of I don't even know, a recreational pharmacist or a consultant. I don't even know what I would call myself. I would just help people. I would teach them how to use stuff. You can go to a dispensary and get any of this stuff. I just tell them how to use it.
It's the town shaman.
Right. Well, yeah. I understood it. I had. I think the big thing is going from me using it for myself and having to dose my kid, and then having to dose other children, because people were coming to me going, hey, well, what do we do? Can you help us give my kid less seizures or something like that? And it became very overwhelming, because I didn't know shit. I knew I could how to control my kids' seizures, but I didn't know anything about cancer. I didn't know anything about all this other shit.
But with that being said, there's families that live here in town who have moved here from out of state because their states wouldn't allow that, moved to Colorado, and their daughter was having multiple seizures per day. And how often is she having one now?
She's doing a lot better now.
I remember the last time, and it's been rare, right? It's been a long time since.
Yeah, and it was something that took several years to trying different things. So the one thing, it's never about, hey, just use my shit. If it doesn't work, then nothing else works. I'll try anybody else's stuff. I'll try, we were giving this little girl stuff that we were getting, the juicy drips, just because we needed consistent stuff. But we wanted to look outside of med, because we just weren't seeing the things that we needed. We were looking anywhere. And so we started giving her a little bit of this. She was doing THCA. So it was trial and error, but it's so hard with a lot of these parents to when you have this cute little girl, 5-year-old girl, that you don't want her stoned. And now you're hearing that, hey, you may have to go up to THC, because most parents start off with CBD, see how that works, and then they, expand out. Back in the day, you were pretty much stuck with THC for kids, unless you could get a hold of Charlotte's Web at the time. But yeah, it just took. It's
good combination of the THCA with the CBDs and stuff like that. They just work well together. Those cannabinoids.
But you can't do it all at once, so you have to do it do it all for a week or a week and a half, or 10 days or something like that, using one specific thing, and then next week you could add something else to it to see if that worked. The week after that you can go, okay, I don't think the THCA is working, let's take that out and we'll add something else in. But usually with small children, especially with severe epilepsy, you want to use the least amount necessary to keep that, your kid comfortable and as seizure free as possible. But it's tough when they're that young and you're going, shit, she could be dealing with this her whole life,
Yeah, it's a tough decision to make,
So you don't want to start throwing a whole bunch of THC at kids and go, okay, now my kid's up to, 10 milligrams 3 times a day. Because you got to work them up to that amount. But I get a lot of parents are like, look, if a couple drops don't work for her of THC, then we're going to try something else. And it's rough.
Wow, man.
It's well, I'm fortunate to have a healthy 5-year-old, man. I'm thankful all the time for that, especially when you hear some of the stories people he helps. It's just like, makes you feel fortunate to have a healthy child, for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine, having to deal with any of these, really traumatic stories you've been telling me, man. I've also been fortunate enough to have a healthy life, but, I think hearing these stories makes people takes the stigma away from, mental health, or people thinking, taking cannabis for any reason it makes you less than the next person, I guess.
Oh yeah, there's always those stigmas, stoner, pothead, burnout, There's a lot of us that are highly functioning potheads, and you can call us whatever you want, that's their stigma, not ours. I'm fine with being called a stoner, Look what I've done.
Look what he's done.
If I could show you the laundry list of people he's helped.
Well, I think that's what it's really all about. This is a simple product. I mean, the processing of it gets, it expands out and it becomes complicated for certain things. But just basic, you want to, try to heal yourself or help yourself or manage your pain and anxiety and stuff. Because like Damon was talking about, with pain, anxiety, and depression, they go hand in hand. So if your pain's up here, your anxiety is going to follow. So if you can control your anxiety, even though you got a lot of pain, you can bring your pain down to where it's manageable. I don't mind being on a pain scale of 5.
Oh, I basically live at a 3. That's like every day when I go to physical therapy, like, how you feeling today? I'm like, oh, it's a good day. I'm at 3. It's just it's been 16 years, man.
And 3 is probably really a 6. In regular person lingo and stuff.
Well, and it's funny because my physical therapist actually says, she goes, you're funny because like you're in more pain than you'll see a lady come in here with her elbow, like she's like, oh, she's like, oh, what's your pain? Oh, I'm a 10. It's like if I was a 10, I'd have to be bleeding to death. You know what I mean? Like you just if you're in chronic pain, you get to the point where you're good at dealing with pain. And my 3 is most people's, like he said, most people would probably be a 6 on my 3. It's just. So she's like, it's funny because you're always so. Like, I know you're having a bad day when you're a 5. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing well if I'm a 5. But somebody's like, she's totally fine, and she's screaming that she's a 10. It's just funny. And I've seen that's funny because I was there that day, and she's like, just like that lady today, and I was like, yeah. She was nothing really wrong with her. She was like 30 visits, and she's on her 29th visit. She's ready to go home, and she's just screaming how hurt she is. But it's people who don't deal with it all the time are like, yeah.
A lot of those people are the people seeking pills. You know what I mean? I was one of those guys, I had to go to pain management one time, and I mean, I was so pissed off because it took like 4 hours for the doctor to get to me. And I had been out for 2 days. So, yeah, it's real rough. But I also remember going back 2 years later because I had to get a back brace, and for some reason I had to go to pain management to do that. Been off all my shit for 2 years, and I'm sitting in the waiting room, and I'm looking around going, holy shit, that was me. That was me. Guys getting up yelling, where in the fuck's the doctor? I already called my bondsman, and, like, what the hell are you talking about? I mean, they're fiending. They're waiting for their opiates and shit like that. It was the craziest thing ever, and I was like, holy shit, this is just, it's insane. And I had to go sit in there for 2 hours just to get, and they didn't even fit me for a freaking brace. they're more concerned about me being on medical marijuana, and maybe we should get you back on some stuff. My doctor tried that, and my pain management doctor tried that. Because they're going, nobody's going to hire you. I'm like, you don't even know what the fuck I do. You know?
My doctor at the VA didn't even want me to try medical marijuana until he's like one day, he's like, you've literally done everything I've asked you for. I mean, spinal taps and cortisone shots and, I mean, stem cell therapy, injections, all sorts of stuff I've done. And he's like, nothing's worked. He's like, I can't recommend you go get your medical marijuana license as a government employee, but I was like, okay. So that's when I went and got that was 2009 when I went and got my medical card.
And that's usually what doctors say to cancer patients. You know that? And that's sad that they even waited to that point to where they're like, probably going to kill himself. That's what the VA is really good at doing, is just waiting them out.
My mother, dude, my dad was a police officer before he passed away. I knew when I needed help. Like my girlfriend, I told you her in this incident with my mother where she came down to go to work and it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm up on the computer. That morning she told me she was concerned, right, for me because I was like, I'm still on Afghanistan time, right? It was right when I got home, and she said she was scared that I was going to kill myself, so she made my dad hide all the guns in the house because she thought I was going to off myself in my parents' house. You know what I mean? Like, that's how fucked up I was when I got back. So it was.
That's why we do this. It's veterans helping veterans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, I don't know. It just needs to be done, just because they're so overlooked, especially guys like Damon. You know, I don't have the issues he has. You know, I don't need the Veterans Administration. And I'm so glad I don't have to, because seeing guys like him.
People are always like, why don't you get off? Why don't you just go get insurance? Dude, I can't afford it. You know, I'm on VA disability. I have a 5-year-old. I literally I have $190 to my name at the end of the month if I don't have to get an oil change or buy my kids something extra at Walmart, or like I have it all mapped out financially, and that's what I live within my means, because I'm dependent on the VA, because I couldn't have a 9 to 5. I would love to do this. I would trade all the pain that I have for a 9 to 5 in a heartbeat. I mean, I wish that day, you know, I got a college degree, used my GI Bill, got a college degree that I can't use because I can't, you know, I got fired when I was in this situation from every job I tried to do because, you know, back pain, nerve pain. I've been zinging pain up the right side of my back for the last 45 minutes, probably just, you know, sitting here.
Damn, should we smoke again?
I mean, it don't matter. It's just, I just deal with it, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's where I live. I live at a 3. You know what I mean?
Damn, all right.
It's, yeah, there's a lot of people that take advantage of the system. And they're the ones that are crowding it up for guys like Damon to actually get help. You know, he could be back at work if he had a good support.
If I wasn't left to suffer for 10 years, almost 11 years by the VA, I probably would have better quality life, and I probably would be able to hold a job. Man, I'm still trying to get back from the horrible condition I was in, from just basically just falling through the cracks, you know, being a statistic, man, all that. It was just, nobody was doing anything for me, man. Yeah. And 10 years later, the body's kind of hard to function. I lost, you know, I used to be 205 pounds. I'm like 185 pounds. And it was like I just lost body mass and muscle failure and body deteriorating pretty much. Wow. In that condition, man. And like I said, the only reason I got help because of a civilian doctor. So, thank God.
Which is really crazy, because most of the civilian doctors don't know how to deal with veterans, people with
I had a massage therapist who had the same exact back surgery from Dr. Sung. And then my ex-wife had a teaching partner. Her husband had a same back surgery, L5S1 fusion from Dr. Sung. And so I was like, this is the guy I'm going to. And he's amazing, man. So
Dr. Sun.
Shout out, Dr.
Yeah,
Sun.
shout
Thank
out.
you, man.
Dr. Danilchuk too.
Who?
That's my orthopedic
Oh,
surgeon.
he was busy with you.
Yeah, he's real busy. 25 years of surgery. Thanks, Doc.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's insane. All right, we've been going for 2 hours.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. We're going for 2
My
hours.
dog's hating us all right now. He's starving. He's thinking I'm not coming home.
All right, we could, is there any last ideas that you want to leave the people with? Last words?
I think we've evolved quite a bit, especially here in Colorado, as far as people understanding that this stuff can work. They still may have their stigma, like, well, I don't want to use
It's
it or
not
whatever.
just getting high.
Yes, this isn't just about getting high. I mean, I know a lot of people like to get high, but a lot of the people that we deal with, they don't want to get high. But it's still, we're able to send them to a place like a rec dispensary like the Blaze with a little better understanding, because you guys, the rec dispensary bud tenders and stuff, they're limited on what you can say, and as far as you can't give medical advice like, oh, hey, you got cancer, try this. But we can kind of guide people, through education, research, and kind of really show people there's really not a big difference between rec and med. Most people that need THC, the older people, would do fine with recreational, 5-10 milligram gummies. I mean, those are perfect. They don't need 25, 50 milligrams, because then they're going to get, messed up. Mm-hmm. And that's what we see a lot is somebody took, grandma took one of grandson's gummies that he had, and they were med, 25 milligrams. She ate the whole thing and then freaked
having
out.
A heart attack.
Yeah. So we want to stay away from that, because that's where the hospitals are kind of, the doctors are coming out going, aha, see, this lady came in and she thought she was dying, and took 4 hours before she calmed down, and it's like, yeah, but she didn't die. It's not like a heroin addict. They overdose, they could die.
Yeah.
Nobody's overdosing and dying because of marijuana. Kids aren't dying. They can say that,
I
kids
think we've proved that tonight.
Yeah.
Because we were starting way before the podcast.
Yeah. That was probably
We smoke down here.
probably a lethal dose that we took, so, and we're still alive, I think. Wait, I got my little Fitbit on. Yep, still alive.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. Marijuana is not a crime.
No.
And it's-
Hemp's not a crime either. I mean, it's all, natural.
Just takes education, man. Takes people being educated on, breaking the stigma of what they've thought for the last 30, 40 years. Mm-hmm. I say that 30, 40 years because most people I think have a stigma about it are older and not a younger generation.
Yeah, from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And
he's knows a lot of people. There's a guy who lives down the street from him, the old retired Army guy who he helps his wife, he helps his dog who's having seizures, he helps him. I mean, the guy was so grateful that Ken gave him some stuff for his dog to stop having seizures that he brought the man a big old tinfoil thing for a barbecue pork, like a week later. Like, my dog hasn't had a seizure in a week. Oh my God, thank you so much.
it's also a retired emergency.
And he was all against
physician.
it. Yeah, he was totally against, but he was like reaching up for help, needed something, and heard about Ken, and
Wow.
I was just hoping. And now, like I said, now his wife's on stuff and he's on stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just
Ken.
education.
Yes. Ken, do you want to tell the people where to find you for the last time?
Oh, yeah, we're down in Canyon City, 200 Water Street, which is in between it's a little difficult. It's between the railroad tracks for the Royal Gorge Railroad and the Arkansas River.
It's the old Ready House.
The old ice.
Put it in your
old
GPS, y'all. You guys are find it.
Actually,
So-
that's why he's telling you it's weird, because the GPS, Google hadn't Googled it out. It'll take you over the bridge into the park. In reality, you're supposed to be on the south side of the river. It's on the north side of the river. So if you just go to the last stoplight in town, which is 3rd Street,
Yeah.
and hook a left, you'll go. It's a short little 50-yard road, right at the train tracks. You'll literally make your first right over the train tracks, and it's a little road that'll take you right to the white building.
Big white building right on the river. And
Yeah. Big Chase's
yeah,
Choice.
Google, you need to come
Fix it.
fix our shit.
Yeah. Do you have a social media they could follow you at?
Chase's Choice, and I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think
on
we got-
Facebook.
So I don't do most of the stuff's on my Facebook, just my personal Facebook. We do have a Chase's Choice Facebook, but
You have
So-
a website for purchasing also.
right, chaseschoice.org.
chaseschoice.org.
It's
Yeah.
a hard crossover from going from such a gray area to where you don't mark your bottles to let anybody know what's in it. You don't put down prices. You don't. We've been word of mouth forever, and now it's just weird being in a legitimate business, and we're like, oh shit, we can actually document us selling this to this person, and.
I was
But
doing all this kitchen before, so
Yeah.
you know.
From humble beginnings to Chase's Choice on Street Champs.
we're gonna stay humble.
That's right.
That's awesome. I love that. All right, guys. Do you guys have any final words? Anything else you want to say?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you
up
so
here.
much for your time, guys.
Yeah, come down and see us.
I will. All right, guys. Chase's Choice, Street Champs. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Patreon, all that. All right. Peace.
Later.
Later.